Even though we are still a long way off from the Note 20 series launch, there is a steady stream of information about the hardware developments for Samsung and what we know should be the two main feature upgrades going into those phones. So last week, as we know, we got information from Exynos talking about Project C. That's the internal code name for the Note 20 series. Later finding out that Project C stood for Project Canvas and that the S Pen was definitely in line for some upgrades over what we saw in the Note 10 line. For now, any new features that are actually going into the S Pen are unknown. But as we've seen a generational upgrade in the S20 series with bigger screens, different aspect ratios, and importantly, the camera hardware has changed completely, we can assume that the Note series won't change much of this and will take those building blocks into that lineup. So the S Pen, something that's always been unique to the Note lineup over the S range, could be an area where Samsung could focus off to give us some new features. But anyway, some more concrete information we have in regards to one of the genuine areas that the Note 20 range will use some improved hardware over the S20 range is in the display. If it's even possible to make a higher quality screen than we're currently getting in the S20 phones, looks like the Note series will be using some brand new AMOLED panels. The S20 phones are already coming with a bump up in the refresh rates, now with the option to use a 120Hz refresh rate at a full HD resolution. But according to some reports, Samsung will be using their brand new screen technology that will be developed in time to be put into the Note 20 phones. According to the same reports, these screens will be more power efficient, about 15% or so over the screens used in the S20 phones, and also emit less blue light than the current generation. With Samsung screens already getting A+ ratings from DisplayMate and being touted by them as near as perfect as you can get in terms of color reproduction, it's hard to imagine how a screen can get better, but of course with every generation comes slight improvements. There was also news today that the possibility of a 12 times optical zoom camera is in development, much like we see the periscope zoom at 5x, soon to be 10x. 12x will apparently follow. The news wasn't in relation to any manufacturer in particular, although Huawei is a little ahead of Samsung with the periscope zoom camera game, using 5x in last year's P30 Pro, rumored to be using a 10x zoom module in the P40 Pro to be released next month. And besides, there was no timeline for this leaked. Samsung have just started using 5x optical zoom in the S20 Ultra, so a 12x is probably a good few years away if they ever use it. According to Exynos though, Samsung have already started development of their next generation of flagship chipsets. Called for now the Exynos 992, the name could change as we get closer to the actual launch date. The Exynos 990 is the latest homemade chipset from Samsung used in the S20 phones in those markets where they don't use the Snapdragon. Samsung recently disbanded its in-house team that was developing architecture for its own chips in favor of using chip designs from ARM, just like Apple, Huawei, and even Snapdragon do. This won't affect the Note series though. It's fully expected they'll be using the same chipsets as we get in the S range, just like they've done every year previously. There is also talk of Snapdragon releasing an 865 Plus in the second half of the year, just like they did last year with the 855 and 855 Plus. Again, the chances are low of Samsung using this because they usually don't. For right now, it's too early to know if Samsung will be using that chip in the Note series, or they'll do what they did last year and use the same chipset in both the S and Note ranges. Guys, thank you so much for all your support. We just hit 100,000 subscribers today, an achievement I never thought I'd make. I'm so grateful for all you spending your time watching these videos and sending me all those supportive comments. Thank you so much. That's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.